Man was created to be strong, to be assertive, to be dominant, to be logical, to be in tune with that intrinsic nature that life willed him to have. Grab a hold of your masculinity, test your beliefs, test the beliefs of others. Become this well-articulated man in a calm and civil demeanor that can have civil discourse. Gentlemen, what's going on? It is a beautiful day to be a man. This is the Better Man channel, where our aim, our mission is to become the masculine men that life requires us to be, that society needs us to be, that culture is begging for someone to step up and take a leadership role. I was watching a YouTube video earlier. I'll put that video in the link, but someone left a comment that said, we're not dominated by patriarchy, right? We live in a culture today where the leftist liberals are saying, oh, patriarchy, it is the diminishing the very nature of man. It is this tyrannical power that is suppressing and oppressing people's needs and desires and potential. And again, the man said that we are not dominated by patriarchy. We're dominated by the need to survive. And that got me thinking that from the very beginning, life, God, evolution, call it what you will, but life required strength. Life required dominance and assertiveness and logical thinking. And again, whatever you want to call it, life, God, evolution, it deemed man, the gender of man, to accept this role. It placed man in this role to be strong, physically strong, logically sharp, head on the swivel, looking for ways to expand and to protect and to combat the enemy was there to destroy what was man's. That was the role that was placed upon man. And from that, culture created this patriarchal system that allowed society to thrive. Culture and society needs strong men, the assertive, dominant men. And we're fully aware that we live in a state today that is trying to tear away the very nature of man. And we wonder, why do we have identity crisis? Why is there this non-binary and unidentified gender? And now we're coming up with there's innumerable genders outside of male and female. We see a confused culture because we've torn away the very structures of man, the structures of female. We're trying to crisscross the roles, and we see it failing. Anybody that can step back and take a look sees that the ideologies of today are creating chaos, not order. And we can point fingers all damn day. But we have to come to the realization that life, God, evolution, Big Bang filled the roles of man and woman. Man was created physically stronger so he could exert himself, so that he could expand the tribe, so that he could protect the tribe. He was given a mind of logic so that he could look left, right, head on a swivel without emotions, so that he can combat, expand, and protect without too much emotional thought. And women was given her great roles to be that of that nurturing, emotional, in-tune motherhood. Each person with their polarities were created to coexist in this golden mean where we meet that assertive, dominant, logical man with the emotional, in-tune, nurturing woman. And we see that being lost and twisted and confused in today's state, and we're becoming a weak society. That's what it's coming down to. We're diminishing our strength because we're tearing away the very idea of masculinity, of patriarchy. And those are the traditions, the states, the characteristics that uphold society and uphold man. So the ideal comes down to this. We as men have to begin to test our beliefs and test the beliefs of society in general. Right? If the idea is shaky, then it's going to fall down when we lean into it, when we push on it, when we test it. And if our belief systems, our philosophies, our ideas, if they're strong and rooted, then when we push on them, when we test on them, they're going to stand upright. But we live in a culture today that's not testing anything. We're accepting everything, therefore standing for nothing. And as man, if we never test our beliefs, if we never push on them to see where they stand or where they fall will always be blind and comfortable. And those men that are willing to exert their will over life will roll over us, no matter their agenda, no matter whether they believe in masculinity or not, or what ideologies they buy into. There's always going to be a man that is willing to do what it takes to exert his power, no matter his agenda. And we see that in life today. We're seeing men surrendering to this feminist movement because it's in agreement with whatever agenda they have. They don't care about the masculinity of men. They care about their power, their greed, or what have you. We as men, rooted in tradition, rooted in that conservative idea of what it takes to uphold society, we are the ones that have to begin to voice our opinion. And in voicing our opinion, or not our opinion, voicing our truth, voicing that belief that upholds society, we've got to begin to test and push not only society's beliefs, right? We're quick to point fingers, but we've got to begin to point fingers, place our hand over our heart, and say, what ideas have I bought into that are less than the standards that uphold myself, uphold my family, my community, and society at large? Can I test those? Are there any shaky beliefs in my system that I need to push over so that I can let the true upright traditions, morals, values that sustain society be rooted, and that other people can stand or come to see the uprightness of what it takes to be a productive culture? Anyone with any sense that can see or is able to see that the direction that society is currently going is not sustainable. We are in a pit of chaos. And history reveals this, that societies that become well-developed and strong, they fall into that soft, luxurious state. They have no enemies because they've beat all the enemies. And so they're in this state of softness. We grow intellectually, we become a little more feminine because we don't have to exert physical will. And then we begin to see a decline and downfall of that society. This is a cyclical nature of history. And so we're in that current state of man falling into that comfortable state. We're not pushing our boundaries. We're not pushing our limits. We're not becoming physical. We're not becoming masculine. We've got into this soft, feminist, intellectual state of emotional in-tuneness. And we're losing our power. We're losing our will to exert power. If we want to overcome this, we've got to begin to combat that, begin to push down the shaky beliefs that help society decline, and begin to stand in the uprightness, the rooted beliefs that help society ascend. We're not dominated by patriarchy. Patriarchy is not this tyrannical power that we should combat or look at with ill will. Patriarchy comes from the need to survive. Patriarchy comes from strong men that help society move forward, expand. The progress of culture, the progress of community, the progress of society is in strict correlation with the progress of man. If we have weak men, if we have this emotional men, if we have feminine men, we're susceptible to the attacks of the enemies. Man was created to be strong, to be assertive, to be dominant, to be logical, to be in tune with that intrinsic nature that life willed him to have. Grab a hold of your masculinity, test your beliefs, test the beliefs of others. Become this well-articulated man in a calm and civil demeanor that can have civil discourse with the opposition and begin to exert your sharp mind. As men in today's society, we're not only needed to be physically strong. Society needs men to be intellectually strong, to have that sharp mindset that can articulate some civil discourse and bring value and morality back to society. I love you guys. You'll hear from me next episode.